This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda, assisted by Sanjay, and read by Geethanjali Ramnayaka. The headlines. The President instructs to purchase paddy at 100 rupees per kilo. Matsuri Japanese Language Centre in Sitawaka opened. New Zealand offers support for Sri Lanka's economic stability. Land deeds distributed to 197 families in the north. The train services back to normal. Railway engine drivers calls off strike. Foreign news, thousands left without power in New Zealand. Sports, Sri Lanka win by 7 wickets. Harshita Madhavi and De Silva powers Sri Lanka. News in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed the government officials to take the necessary measures to purchase a kilo of paddy at a guaranteed price of 100 rupees. While attending the Northern Province harvest ceremony at Paranthan in Jaffna on Sunday, the President said the government promptly provided the required fertilizers to the farmers and therefore believes that there will be a surplus of paddy harvest in the Maha season. Accordingly, arrangements are being made for government to purchase a kilo of paddy at a guaranteed price of 100 rupees, he assured. The President further said that the Northern Province and Jaffna district will be developed as a province capable of supplying food to Sri Lanka. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and Ambassador of Japan Mitsukoshi Hideaki opened the Matsuri Japanese Language Centre in Sitawaka in Avisavela on Saturday. Mr. Hiroyuki Shimotori, director of a Shimokikaku Company Limited in Japan, has established this center to educate youth in Japanese language and culture education to youth free of charge. He also assured that qualified youth would be provided employment in Japan. Prime Minister Gunawardena expressed confidence that this center would be highly beneficial to the youth of the entire district. Japanese Ambassador Mitsukoshi Hideaki said that it was a pleasure for him to see the growing interest among the youth of Sri Lanka to learn Japanese language. He said that many Japanese companies operating overseas and companies in Japan recruit skilled workers from Sri Lanka, and the knowledge of Japanese language is a prerequisite for these jobs. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Isuru Udana gift certificates, a valuable gift for any child.
High Commissioner of New Zealand to Sri Lanka and Maldives, Michael Appleton, says that the New Zealand government will continue to provide technical support to Sri Lanka for the island's nation's development. This was stated during a discussion held yesterday between the New Zealand High Commissioner and the State Minister of Finance, Shehan Semesinghe. The discussion focused on country's economy, progress of International Monetary Fund, reforms towards stability and the current political situation. The measures taken to obtain the support of the IMF were discussed extensively. Attention was also paid to the reforms carried out with the aim of restoring Sri Lanka's economy. The economic and political situation of the country was also discussed. President Ranil Wickremesinghe today presided over a ceremony at the Jaffna District Secretariat to award land deeds and financial compensation to 197 displaced families in the north. The lands were freed as part of a program to return the lands used by the security forces during the civil war to the original residents as per the instructions of the President. During the ceremony, President Wickremesinghe symbolically awarded land deeds and financial compensation cheques worth 38,000 rupees each to several recipients. Train services would be back to normal as the Railway Engine Drivers Union decided to call off their trade union action, asking their grievances and demands with the authorities, Secretary of the Union Mr. UK Kanta Singh has said. He further mentioned that the trade union action was called off after holding discussions with the relevant authorities regarding their demands. And that ends local news for now.
Your sister got him the most valuable gift of all.
My family will do anything for our child's future.
People's Bank Isuru Udana gift certificates, a valuable gift for any child.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In the main news story, Elections Commissioner General Saman Sri Ratnayaka says it's mandatory to produce any accepted form of identity in order to vote in coming local government elections. National Identity Card, Driving Licence, Pensioners ID, Identity Card issued for clergy by the Department of Registrar of Persons will be accepted as a valid form of identity. The Special Temporary Driving Licence and the Identity Card issued by Elections Commission are also accepted. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, Commissioner General of Department of Motor Transport Nishantha Anuruddha Veerasinghe said that there are over 700,000 motor vehicles in Sri Lanka with defective airbags and other safety flaws. It has been confirmed that a number of car models, including SUVs, with faulty airbags are currently running on Sri Lankan roads with no inspection, while they have been recalled in other countries. The Commissioner General said the vehicle import agents are now gathering details from the department on owners with vehicles identified with safety flaws and are taking steps to recall those vehicles. And that came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to world news, in the headlines, at least 46,000 homes have lost power in the storm in New Zealand. US military shoots down fourth flying object over North America. And Cambodia's Hun Sen banned independent media, Voice of Democracy. Some 46,000 homes have lost power as Cyclone Gabrielle lashes the north of New Zealand. Authorities have issued warnings of heavy rain and winds and hundreds of flights have been cancelled. Some areas have declared a state of emergency as Gabrielle nears the North Island. It comes weeks after Auckland and surrounding areas were hit by record rainfall that sparked floods and killed 4 people. United States fighter jets have shot down an unidentified object flying near the Canadian border in the Midwest, the Pentagon said. The latest incident since a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon put North America's security forces on high alert. Pentagon spokesperson Patrick Ryder said the object was flying at 6,100 meters and while it was not a military threat, it could have potentially interfered with domestic air traffic. Cambodia's leader Hun Sen has shut down one of country's last independent media outlets, just months after the country's election. VOD, or the Voice of Democracy, had published a story last week that hurt his government's reputation, Hun Sen said in a Facebook post on Sunday. He has refused to accept the group's apology, cancelling its license on Monday. Back to the headlines of the world news. At least 46,000 homes have lost power in the storm in New Zealand. US military shoots down fourth flying object over North America. Cambodia's Hun Sen banned independent media, Voice of Democracy. And that ends world news.
Development news.
A proposal to establish an aircraft disassembly and recycling operation at the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport has been cleared by the Cabinet. Under the project, a joint venture with a Hong Kong-based company, aircraft which needs to be dismantled will be broken down and reusable parts will be separated, while the rest will be recycled. Ports and Aviation Ministry Secretary KDS Ruwan Chandra said that initially a 1-acre plot from the airport land would be leased out and depending on the demand expanded. He said the project would open the opportunity for other investors as well. The Secretary said the Central Environment Authority and the Aviation Ministry had granted approval for a project which would bring in revenue in foreign exchange and create job opportunities. And that was development news. Moving on to sports news, it's cricket news. World Cup cricket tournament, Harshita Madhavi slammed an unbeaten 50 to guide her side to win the game by 7 wickets. Madhavi was supported by Nilakshi De Silva, who remained unbeaten on 41. In their short-run chase, Sri Lanka started poorly as they lost 3 wickets early on. Batting first, Bangladesh women would only manage 126 runs. Chasing a target of 127, Sri Lanka reached the mark in 18.2 overs with 7 wickets to spare. Earlier, Oshadi Ransinghe and captain Chamari Atapattu shared 5 wickets between them as Sri Lanka restricted Bangladesh to a below-par total of 126 for 8. Bangladesh collapsed with the bat after a promising start. Bangladesh lost 5 wickets for 24 runs in the closing stages of their innings, finishing with 126 for 8. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A technology partnership between Abans Auto and Hyundai Motor Company of Korea has paved the way for the devolution of the latest engineering processes, world-class component manufacturing technologies, and further technology partnerships with internationally acclaimed OEM vendors, signifying a revolution in Sri Lankan automotive engineering. Similarly, upon utilizing the wealth of experience in setting up world-leading assembly and manufacturing facilities across the globe, Hyundai was comprehensively involved in setting up the state-of-the-art vehicle assembly line in Sidua, where the Grand I-10 was assembled. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
In economic news, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said the inflation is likely to come down below 10% by the end of 2023, which would also help to gradually bring down the interest rates. Outlining the rationale for not bringing down the interest rates immediately, he explained to the COAPF meeting recently that it was difficult to reduce rates immediately as the impact of previous measures in 2021 was reflecting adversely on the economy last year. And that was economic news.
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather Report.
In the weather report, Meteorology Department says showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Zatnapura, Kalutara, Gaul and Matra district during the afternoon or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. And before we conclude this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The President instructs to purchase paddy at 100 rupees per kilo. Matsuri Japanese Language Centre in Sitawaka opened. New Zealand offers support for Sri Lanka's economic stability. Land deeds distributed to 197 families in the north. The train services back to normal. Railway engine drivers calls off strike. Foreign news, thousands left without power in New Zealand. Sports, Sri Lanka win by 7 wickets. Harshita Madhavi and De Silva powers Sri Lanka in the World Cup cricket. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.